story. Women. Fuck.
Yes! Yes.
Hi there. You can either respect my trans homies, or I can identify as a fucking problem. And if I catch your bitch ass being disrespectful, your pronouns are going to be was, were. Thank you for coming, and have a nice day.
Are you threatening me?
It's reported at least 44 trans people were murdered in 2020 alone. And despite your fears, you say you feel a deep responsibility to share your truth. Why?
Well, you know, so much of the privilege I have, the ability to be here, sitting here right now, is really because of so many trans women of color who have consistently put their lives on the line throughout history, you know? I'm grateful to have the access to the resources I've had, because I don't know what would have happened if I didn't.
Sticking feathers up your butt does not make you a chicken.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
Available.
and homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
I'm kind of retarded.
Well, this was quite the week, wasn't it? Over across the pond, they unveiled the very first painting of King Sausage Fingers, and everybody had a jolly good freak out over that, which I partially understand because it is creepy as shit looking. And then you had people mirroring the image, and it didn't get any less creepy. There were a lot of fakes out there where people trying to overlay shit into it, and it's like, if you put up a mirror image and it's not perfectly symmetrical, it makes it kinda obvious, dumb fuck. And it's not like this should really be that surprising. I mean, we are talking about a guy who literally has bragged about being the direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler, which is who Dracula is based on. And if you think about the storyline for Dracula, you got this evil Prince of Darkness who comes from Transylvania, which is modern-day Romania, to London to feed off the people of England. I mean, it's basically an allegory of the modern British royal family's rise to power. And then down in Spain, you had this local city councilor get videos leaked of him eating his own shit. And he was the counselor of youth, children, and family on the city council of wherever the fuck city in Spain. But then there was also this local city politician up in Germany who, instead of getting videos leaked, he actually put out videos on social media of him licking a public toilet seat. As well as a toilet brush and some other things that I'm not even gonna talk about. Just when you think shit can't get any weirder. And then back home here in the States, we had
Fox News alert, cocaine was found in the Capitol.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
Capitol Police spotted a baggie full of white powder in a hallway on the second floor of their own headquarters. They tested it, cocaine. Capitol Police opened an investigation which we hope will last longer than the White House cocaine investigation. 11 days, no suspects, no video, and they destroyed the evidence. Primetime already has a few persons of interest. The Democrat Senate staffer who shot a gay porn film, also the entire California delegation. And there was some person who was in the Capitol a while back. I just can't put my finger on it. We'll let you know how this one turns out.
Yeah, you could narrow down the list of possible suspects to anybody that was in the building that day. And much like the White House, this is a place that has cameras every fucking where. But watch, this story will just go away, and they'll probably say the cameras that were pointed at this particular area malfunctioned. And it's not that I even care that somebody likes to get down with the booger sugar every once in a while. It's the hypocrisy of the whole drug war. I think we should just decriminalize all drugs. Oh, you can't do that because then everybody would be on drugs. Give me a break. It's not like there's people out there going, gee, I sure would like to try that cocaine stuff, but I don't want to break the law. Yeah, it's worked out a lot better putting people in prison for the shit, isn't it? And then when you have something like this pop up, the story just evaporates, and they act like, nobody cares. And then there was a story that got way more attention than it deserved. Trump and Biden agree to do a debate. And everybody's talking about how, I hope Trump realizes that the deck is going to be stacked against him.
Well, no shit.
Personally, I think this is mostly window dressing because I really am still expecting there to be some kind of last-minute switcheroo. Everybody seems to think that, oh, it's too late now, and after they have the convention, they'll be stuck with his old ass. But what happens if he has an accident or dies suddenly? You think they're just going to hand it over to Trump by default?
I don't think so.
Oh, they'll have an emergency session at the DNC, but regardless, all this talk about how they're gonna give Biden some kind of unfair advantage in the debate, shit, every single debate that Trump has taken part in, they've stacked the deck against him, so this is nothing fucking new. And again, I reiterate, for those people that think that all we need is to get Trump back in there and we'll all be saved, sorry to break it to you, but we're gonna need a hell of a lot more than that. The rot and the corruption in our political system has roots that run so fucking deep. And I think this right here is a perfect illustration of that. There was this video that Patrick Bet-David put out a few days back, and it was all about this law from 1951 that I had mentioned probably like a year ago. Yes, they passed this little-known law that if you go to patent an invention that the government deems to be disruptive or problematic, they can just declare national security, and whatever you've invented can't be allowed to come to market. And we're not talking about something like a time machine where you could cause a major problem by going back and causing a paradox which could unravel the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe. No, we're talking about a carburetor that makes a car get over 200 miles a gallon, or an electric car with a battery that recharges itself. Shit like that, you know? Things that make the whole fossil fuel climate change debate completely irrelevant. Do you remember that shooting at the grocery store up in Buffalo a while back? That security guard that got killed, he was in the second stage of patenting a car that ran off of water. And these are little stories you hear about every once in a while about people that, because water is just hydrogen and oxygen, both gases that are flammable, why can't you just split the molecule into the atoms and run it off of that? Well, because you're fucking with $1 trillion industry, that's why not. As well as the ultimate excuse for top-down government control of you and everything you do. And this roughly 20-minute video is a really good breakdown of specific instances and stories of people that invented things that could be considered problematic. So whether you're talking about on the left, from the Green New Deal dipshits like AOC, down to these idiot kids that throw fucking soup cans on paintings, to the people on the right that say, we can't just stop using fossil fuels because solar and wind don't have what it takes to bridge that gap, and our existing power grid can't even handle a lot of the shit that we're already running, let alone all these new electric cars. The whole argument is contrived, and I would love to see some people get publicly confronted with the existence of this law and asked, why can't we look at these patents that would quite literally solve this whole fucking problem? Because the answer is simple. They don't want to solve the problem. And all this talk about free market capitalism, it seems like the people that honestly think we live in a free market capitalist society, or that we ever have during any of our lifetimes, are like people that believe in the Easter Bunny. And I'm sorry to have it break it to you, but
You know what? There is no Easter Bunny! Over there, that's just a guy in a suit!
Western civilization has been steered into a collapse for multiple generations. Especially in America, the ruling class has gone to great lengths to turn the public at large into a horde of fat, stupid, lazy, and totally self-centered narcissistic douchebags. And this wasn't by accident. All the chess pieces are being moved into place, with the attacks on farming, the food supply, the supply chain at large, giant Ponzi scheme that we call an economic system, as well as the wars we're provoking, this conflagration isn't just happenstance. And now in Gaza, you had Biden say, oh, we're gonna hold off this shipment of bombs because we don't want you to go into Rafah. And then a few days later he announces, oh, we're gonna ship some more arms to Israel. And on the other side, what are they doing? Well, Mike Dickface and the other House GOP passed a bill to force Biden to arm Israel.
Oh, fucking hell.
And then meanwhile, you got the IDF, who had pushed everybody from the northern end of Gaza down to the southern end in Rafah. And they said, okay, everybody who's not a terrorist, go south. And they said, holy shit, it turns out all these terrorists went south with the civilians, so now we're going to have to roll in there. So now they're telling the people in Rafah, okay, go north, just a little bit, just right about to where the U.S. military just built that pier. You know, the one to bring supplies in. And what do you think's going to end up happening? Do you think they might end up evacuating a bunch of refugees? And where do you think they might bring them?
That's a mystery.
This is something that's been pointed out and echoed by both Michael Yon and Matt Bracken, two people who know something about this kind of shit. And one of them is former Special Forces, the other is a former Navy SEAL. But after the fucking millions of people that have already flooded across our southern border the past few years, what's another million or so refugees? The stage is being set for people all over the world that have been fucked over by our military-industrial complex to take revenge on our population writ large for our silent complicity. And it'll be really easy to do. We've built a system that's highly efficient, highly convenient, which also makes it highly vulnerable and fragile. If a bunch of these sleeper cells that we already know are in the country attack the power grid and bridges and rail lines in a coordinated fashion, our society grinds to a halt and chaos ensues. And if you couple that with some random shootings and bombings, and things like, say, you have some people that are dressed up like the police but aren't actually the police, and they decide to just show up somewhere and open fire on civilians. Well, now you've created a situation where nobody trusts anybody. And then if you have the actual police show up, they're gonna be the ones getting attacked. And next thing you know, they're gonna stop showing up anywhere. We're at a point where the people in this country are ready to go to war with themselves, and all they need is a little nudge. And then when the dust settles and something resembling order is restored, you'll have a whole hell of a lot of people dead, and they're gonna come in and they're gonna downplay what actually caused this to happen and just use it to demonize the fact that we all own so many guns. This would have never happened had everybody not been armed. And by the way, this is the plot line from this 80s movie called Invasion USA. It's a really cheesy, corny Cold War era movie, but it is free to watch on YouTube if you want to check it out. And you should absolutely keep putting away extra food, finding a way to acquire and purify water, and not only arming yourselves, but becoming proficient as well. Don't be like these dumb fucks down in Miami Gardens the other day. You had 5 people open up on a silver Nissan, and they all just mag dumped, didn't hit anything. And I suppose it's a good thing that nobody actually got shot, but at the same time, holy shit, you guys can't shoot worth a damn. So yeah, the importance of learning proper shooting technique and being able to actually hit a target is even more important than simply being armed. Slancha.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy.
please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this video, or leaving a comment. Because every time you do nothing, Vladimir Putin will shoot another puppy.